Let's talk about Marques Brownlee destroys the economy.
What a pivot. Is AI going to destroy the economy? No.
No, it will be a YouTuber. So this is obviously our headline topic for the video today. A review of Humane AI's AI Pin by MKBHD has received a surprising amount of backlash, with at least one detractor calling it, and this is a quote, almost unethical, irresponsible, and careless. This particular critic even made an implicit reference to a doctor's Hippocratic oath, first to do no harm. Several business influencers followed his lead, framing Marques as being some kind of powerful reviewer, heartlessly killing other people's nascent projects. This is despite some of these business influencers claiming that he bankrupted a company in 41 seconds. Sorry, what? Okay, so there's lots of problems here. So number one, Humane AI is not currently bankrupt. Number two, they received a lot of equally negative coverage from people other than Marques. He just happens to be a particularly high-profile person. And number three, Humane AI staff seem to be largely unperturbed by his review, and their social media head, Sam Sheffer, called it an honest, solid review with fair and valid critiques. This is another quote.
I think it helps that Sam is a very experienced person who came from the media side, actually. So, like, he's been on the other side of this. He understands it. It makes sense that he would have a well-reasoned, appropriate response.
Marques himself has commented on the controversy, saying that a negative review is very unlikely in and of itself to kill a product or a company without there being other factors involved. He also stated that his reviews are not to inform or entertain businesses. They are to inform and entertain consumers, and that you shouldn't really get that all confused. So I would just like to say heartily that I agree. As a reviewer, you don't owe a brand that sends you a product for review anything. The deal is, and I laid this out. I laid this out back when Hardware Unboxed was under fire from NVIDIA. Or rather not, NVIDIA was under fire for their treatment of Hardware Unboxed. And you had these people coming out and saying, well, look, you know what, I'm not going to name any names, but there were people both on the company side, some companies, let's not name any names, and on the audience side that had this understanding of a reviewer's role. Like, the second you're reviewing something, you are part of the marketing strategy for this product, or that you owe somebody anything. That is not how this works. You get the product, you evaluate it with the knowledge and with the tools that you have at your disposal. And if you like it, there is a huge benefit. There's an enormous benefit, because an unbiased video or article about a product is going to have a much larger impact than paid advertising. If that weren't the case, and I promise you this, I cross my heart and I give you my personal Linus Tech Tips, trust me bro guarantee. If that were not the case, companies would only advertise. They wouldn't engage with independent media at all. Why take the risk? Because the other side of that coin, right? The other side of that coin, you get this huge boost if an independent media says your product is great and recommends to buy it. But if they don't like it, it stings. You don't run that risk with paid media.
We went through a similar thing. We sent our screwdriver out.
Well, we've gone through things on all sides of all kinds of things when it comes to saying whether a product is good or not and having people be into it or not.
I just mean on the product side.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We have been on the product side.
Let's talk about it from the manufacturer side.
Yeah. Do Do you want to run?
Well, I thought you were going to. No, no.
We sent it to
look,
Project Farm.
I had the Luke experience for an hour just now.
That was genuinely hilarious. I was trying not to laugh every time. I could see you physically reacting, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to the world. That was epic.
I'd like you to go ahead and tell your story now. No, I'm doing it on purpose right now.
We sent it to a bunch of different reviewers, and every time that we knew a review, because we would often there'd be some form of communication of like when the video would come out, but they often wouldn't tell us what like the results were, because that makes sense. So like we would know a video was coming out on a certain day, and there was so much anxiety because we have a lot of belief in the product. But you don't know, like they might test it in some weird way that we didn't think of or whatever. Like you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. They might not like the feel for whatever reason.
Yeah,
like,
they might just plain not fucking like it.
Maybe they just think it's ugly. Like who knows, right? And then the videos would come out, and then oh great, everybody seems to love it. But like it's a tense moment.
And there's a degree of kind of knowing who you're sending something to. Like if I had a product that was functional but not particularly aesthetically pleasing, you know what? You
might send it to someone who's more into function over form.
Yeah, I might, I've decided not to name names, but I might pick and choose my reviewers a little bit. If I had something that I thought was very, very, very beautiful and crafted, I might send it to a completely different set. And don't imagine for a second that companies aren't playing this game and that they don't have a certain set of expectations. Again, a name I'm not going to name, but a very large technology channel that is not Marques, but really, really big, told me that before engaging with them one time, there's a brand that had someone on their team go back and watch every single video they'd ever published. A, to make sure they were brand safe, and B, to get some idea of where their headspace was at and what they felt was important. Like, I'll tell you this much, Humane AI did not contact me. That tells you everything you need to know about their confidence in the product from
reach out?
From a nuts and bolts practical. Oh, do you think they don't know who we are?
Yeah, but did we reach out?
I think we did at some point. I'm not sure. It would have been procurement team. Okay. But there's absolutely no way that there's no way that there was a conversation at Humane AI that did not include what about LTT? And there is absolutely no way that if I was on that team, I would have greenlit sending us one. Come on. What was I going to say about it? Was I going to talk about the design? I'd have been like, wow, how many pixels are in this fucking display?
I'm not going to lie. When some of the videos started coming out on it, I was often refreshing the LTT page looking for the resurrection of Kickfarted, but unfortunately, it never happened.
No, I mean, I'd be down to cover it. I thought we ordered one or something.
It might be a little late.
I haven't followed it up. Well, I don't know. I came up with a good title today. It doesn't matter how early or late your video is if you've got a good title.
If you've got that banger title,
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so I came up with a good title. It was like Marques killed this product or something like that, or like I forget.
Why did Marques murder this?
Yeah, exactly. Look how they massacred my boy. As long as you've got the title, it just really doesn't matter. So I'm definitely down to review it. I am intentionally not watching any coverage of it like I did with the Vision Pro. So Apple's a company that explicitly excludes us from any kind of early access or insider information on their products because they don't like the way we do things. That's fine. That's fair enough. But yeah. The cold, hard truth, the basic truth is that that's how independent media works. Everyone has their own methods, everyone has their own processes, everyone has their own biases, and the way that you engage is up to you. You're not obligated to send a product to anyone. The only reason that whole thing with NVIDIA and Unbox Therapy blew up was because NVIDIA said the quiet part out loud. Apple is so careful.
Unboxed?
NVIDIA.
Yeah, Hardware Unboxed?
What did I say?
Unbox Therapy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hardware Unboxed.
I'm just...
Yeah, thank you. The only reason that whole thing went down with Hardware Unboxed and NVIDIA was because NVIDIA said the quiet part out loud. They said, look, if you don't get on board with ray tracing and beat this drum, we're not going to be able to seed you products anymore. Well, okay. Apple's too smart for that.
I just want to interject for something slightly off topic for a second, just before I forget, because I was supposed to do it at the beginning of the show, but then obviously important things happened. If you're watching on Floatplane, check out the beta.floatplane.com site. We just pushed a massive update, which you're going to notice probably nothing, but it's really big for us, and we need bug reports. So if you use it, run into any problems, there's a forum in the bottom left-hand corner. Click that. Let us know what's going on. Don't tell me in the Flowplane chat, because I can't do anything about it right now, but use that forum and let us know. It's complete removal of the Angular wrapper. It's all in React. It's a big deal. Anyways, sorry, back on the topic.
Avery Studios says MKBHD saved us from a junk product to the end. They can go cry on their pile of unwanted inventory, and that's 100% true. I mean, I made a comment a little while ago that I think got taken... Well, okay. Basically what I said was, look, I don't want anyone to buy this about a product. And that was taken as like that I had some kind of bias or something. But no, and while I do come with my own set of experiences, obviously, and my own priorities, it was not a bias. It was based on my direct experience with the product. And when I said I don't want anyone to buy it, it was that I don't want anyone to waste their money. That's my fucking job. Is that you don't waste your money. And the reason that we've got, as many subscribers as we do, the reason we have so many people watching right now is because a lot of you seem to have very similar priorities to me. And so what I tend to do is, with my experience and with my priorities, I tend to lay out what the case is for, you guys as best I can, or in some cases, like with something like the PS Portal, lay out, okay, hold on a second, let's go outside of your bubble for a second and talk about the use cases for people who are maybe not you. That's what I'm doing when I'm doing my best. And we have a responsibility to at least try to be consistent when it comes to the application of our rules. So if on the one hand we say, hey, this thing ain't baked, it's the worst thing I've ever seen, forget about it. And then on the other hand, we have a product and we say, this thing ain't baked, but I love it and I'm excited for the future anyway, then we better have a damn good justification for why we're applying these different standards, and we better explain it. I think you probably saw something like that with our coverage of Intel Arc, where we basically said, okay, look, we're rooting for this thing. Darn it, we're rooting for this thing. It isn't very good today, but here's why it's important. I'm going to do my gosh darndest best to, try to see if this thing is usable at all. But no, I can't give it a straight-faced recommendation, but you've got to explain that. And what's frustrating, I think, sometimes is that you can't count on people to get the whole story. I think a lot of people saw Marques's title, which was initially the worst product I've ever reviewed or something like that. And they just look at that and they go, okay, well, that was all he had to say about it. Guys, I think his worst crime was engagement bait, right?
Which everybody has to do.
Which realistically, we don't make the rules about.
Yeah.
And you kind of owe it to yourself, if this is something you're curious about, to hear everything he has to say. And you know what? Yeah, am I guilty of it sometimes? Reading just the headline? Sure, we all are. But we can't be mad solely at a Marques or an us or whoever in the media. We also have to be a little mad at ourselves for not getting more than one perspective. A, finish getting that perspective, and B, get a second perspective. I have always advocated for multiple perspectives. I have always advocated for a strong, diverse, independent media, because the reality of it is, you are not going to get the same perspective on even something that we all use in fundamentally the same way, right? Let's say an iPhone. What is it? Well, hold on a second. It's a computer in our pocket. Yeah, we all use it as that, but you might game on it. I might use it solely for telecommunications. Someone else might use it only once a month when they're not using their daily driver phone because they need to do a 3D scan of an environment. I don't know. That's why we need these multiple perspectives. And I think that for anyone, whether you're on the consumer side or the media side, to say, no, this is the one source of truth, and that truth wasn't right. How dare they? It's losing the entire plot. That's my spiel.
Yeah. And it sucks because...
And furthermore...
He's got to get back. That's fine. It was still so fun to watch. Also, I'm going to tangent again really quickly. I'm stoked that he was very receptive coming back on again, because that was a fantastic conversation.
Oh, Jim? Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick. Anyways, jumping back to this. It sucks because like I think we all want to live in a space where companies are a little bit more brazen about the products that they make and are willing to take risks and make weird things and push limits and do stuff like that. And when you're in that environment, things will fail. I don't know if he said it here or it's in an interview that I watched with him in it recently, because I think those things are going to blend in my head for a little while now. But he had a conversation where he was talking about how when creating a product, you can aim for like 30% ahead. And you could do that every time if you wanted, but it's a big risk. Or you can just aim for 10% ahead every single time, and you'll probably hit more often. It's fun. It's fun when the companies aim for 30% ahead.
Yep.
But they're going to miss. And it's not our job to say, great job, product amazing, when they do
Gold
miss.
star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for participating. Everyone go buy it so that they can make a better one for the people who didn't waste their fucking money on this one.
As much as we want companies to take those chances, it's a big risk on the company, and it's our job to inform consumers. So if the thing sucks, you got to say it.
Yep.
And you need to boil down why, because it's very possible, like your analogy with the iPhone, that someone won't care about all the reasons why you think it sucks, and they might see some of the reasons why it is good as enough justification for them to buy it. So it might be a product for them, and that's great. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and we're going to keep doing what we do, and so will everybody else.
We sure are. I mean, better people than you have tried to stop us.
Yeah.
You know who hasn't tried to stop us? Our sponsors.
These sponsors.